الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. May Allah inshallah accept our amal, our dua, our prayers tonight, our masa'ib and our tawassulat to Ahlul Bayt. Recite aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our sincere condolences on the Shahadat of our beloved Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam. Inshallah. May Allah help us to be among the true followers of this Imam and Ahlul Bayt. Let's recite this salawat to this Imam together, inshallah. We'll have the thawab of the ziyarat of Imam Baqir, although we're far away from Baqir, that doesn't have any light at night, doesn't have any shade during the day because of the khibasat and the hostility of Wahhabis. They cannot even see the influence and effect and respect of Imams and Ahlul Bayt even after their physical life in this dunya. Allah inshallah give us tawfiq to be among the zawar of them. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad ibn Ali باغر العلم وإمام الهدى وقائد أهل التقوى والمنتجب من عبادك اللهم وكما جعلته علما لعبادك ومنارا لبلادك ومستودعا لحكمتك ومترجما لوحيك وأمرت بطاعته وحذرت من معصيته فصل عليه يا رب أفضل ما صليت على أحد من ذريته أنبيائك وأسفيائك ورسلك وملائك يا رب العالمين. صلوات. There are some people in this world that, as Quran says, they have priority over other people. Not without any reason. Is because of how they chose, what they chose, and how to live in this dunya. Because they chose the right path. Because they deliberately following the path that helped them to reach to their goals. Many people, they go to school, but not all of them would finish. Only those who are determined, who have the higher goal, perseverance, continue, they reach the goal. Because they do something, and it's not easy. As human beings being created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there should be a very distinct, sophisticated goal that Allah expended all this cost for creating the universe, for the sake of me and you being the best of all creatures, to do what? There should be a very important and distinct goal for us to reach. And that does not come whatever I want, as nothing in this world comes however I want. No one give you any degree however you want to study. No one give you money however you want to work. No one give you any certification however you want to practice, right? You got to do it exactly as the founders are telling you to do. All accepted? Yeah? How is it possible that we say Allah created us and says, however you want, I'm going to accept it from you? You got to do exactly as the path that He sets, which is way more sensitive than any other jobs, right? And it's impossible that He creates us. He sends us here without any guide, any message, any interpreters, and any example and role model. It's impossible. That's not just. He's a very just God, right? It's not based on justice that He doesn't give any example to us. So when He created us, He sent the guides to us, and He sent people to guide us. He sent multiple holy books the books of manual how to live in this dunya as who we are supposed to be. And the last one is Quran. And the books needs interpretation. And he sent 124,000 prophets to come and guide human beings. At the end, he sent the best of all to say this is the seal of all messengers. This is the one who will complete the message for you guys. This is the one who you should follow forever. And he is the Prophet of Islam, Muhammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah, like other human beings, is a bashar. He has a limited time and life, physical life in this dunya. What if after that? So what's going to happen after Rasulullah? So Allah is going to change His sunnah, this tradition, that there was always a hujjat, a representative of Allah on the earth guiding people. At school, you never see it without a president, do you? A company, you never see it without a CEO or someone in charge, do you? Anywhere you go, everywhere you go, there's someone in charge. Even temporary, should be someone in charge. If the one who is in charge is leaving, says, you know what, stay here, I'm going to come back. How come Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent us to this world in the most important, the most sensitive time of the world, which is now that we're living in? You see the chaos around the world. It's that all of a sudden you don't need anyone else. So from now on, after Rasulullah, there's no hujjah, there's no representative. Go live however you want. Well, this is more important, or the time that they were worshipping the stones? The minds is so limited, they were worshipping cows and animals. This is more important, the time of internet, the time of technology and science. This is more needed, right? Yes, Allah sent the guides, as we call them, the infallible Imams, for guidance. For us seeing them as examples, as role models, that this is the goal. You should get to that level. Although it's very difficult, you're not going to be to that level, but this is what it is. You're going to study, you're going to work, you're going to put your efforts. This is the goal. Right? That's why our Imams, our immaculate Imam, tonight we're sitting in the majlis belong to our beloved Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam. We're commemorating for the sake of seeing ourselves in that mirror. And unfortunately, throughout the history, we know what happened to the monks. We know what happened after Rasulullah, very short historical part. After the demise of Rasulullah, although he recommended, no, he ordered them to follow Ahlul Bayt in Quran. He ordered, not recommended, but they distorted the path. 25 years, the one who said, Saluni qabla an tafqaduni. You ask me about anything, I'm more aware of the path and the path of the sky better than the earth. He's sitting in the house because some people want to take the power because of some political aspects. And when you get away from the source of knowledge, the source that you need to follow, people will gradually forget about it, right? You want to learn a new language? You work and you work and you work. Stop working. You're going to forget about it. So when people are not receiving the message from the source of Wahy, which is an immaculate person, they're going to forget about it. Then, what was going on before Islam? Jahiliyyah, the era of ignorance. The habits of Jahiliyyah, only after 23 years, it's going to come back to the society. Right? All those habits are going to come back to the society. What we see that up until the time of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, the Jahiliyyah, the habits of era of ignorance is coming back to the society. To the level that nothing is going to work anymore. No advice, nothing. Hujjat of Allah, Imam Ali, 25 years he's in the house too. They don't let him be in charge. Imam Hassan, you know what they did to him? At the time of Imam Hassan, there's no other way to awaken this dead body. You know when the body is almost dead, you know what the medical authorities they do? They give electric shock, right? There's nothing else can help. The last resort is that shock that might help. Might help. Why? Because nothing else works. Give them a little bit of medicine. No, medicine doesn't work. How about a little bit of shock? No, nothing works. Food? No. Just the shock can help. Imam has to bring that shock to the society of Ummah of Islam, and that only comes with sacrificing his life for that sake. So people realize, understand, well, what happened? The son of Rasulullah, in the middle of the territory of Islam, brutally become murdered and shaheed. What are we doing? Up until that time, it's going the oppression. Up until the time of Imam Baqir. Imam Sajjad, he started the path of still under huge supervision, right? Strict. But he started the path. At the time of Imam Baqir, the Khalifa Umayyads, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, among the all Khulafa of Bani Umayyah, he's a little bit better than others. All the same, but he's better than others. He led, because his teacher was Shia, so he led the Ahlul Bayt to be easier and free, to do a lot of things. So Imam had the opportunity to start the path of establishing and spreading the knowledge of Islam and Shia and Ahlul Bayt, which got developed at the time of who? Imam Sadiq. Imam Baqir, you know that who mentioned his name, Baqir? 50-something years before his birth, Rasulullah, Muhammed sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, said, لجابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري يا جابر إنك ستبقى حتى تلقى ولدي محمد بن علي بن حسين علي بن أبي طالب. You will be alive until you see one of my son, not one, my son, he's calling him his son. That's a different story later, I'll tell you why. He's calling son, and why others, they want to say they're not the son of Rasul, they're son of Ali. You will see him. Jabir had a very blessed life. He saw all the Masumin until the time of Imam Baqir. Right? 5 Imam and Rasul. Al-Ma'ruf fi Tawrah. His name is famous in Torah bil Baqir. Rasulullah is calling him before the time of Rasulullah. When his name is Imam Baqir, right? His name is Baqir, is Ma'ruf in Torah. Indeed in Torah, right? In the Torah, bil Baqir. فَإِذَا لَقِيتَهُ فَقْرَئْهُ مِنِّ السَّلَامِ. When you meet him, send salam to him on behalf. Say Rasulullah send salam to him. And Jabir did. He was sitting next to the masjid, the door of masjid, and he was saying, calling the name Baqir. He's like, who is Baqir? Who is he calling Baqir? He didn't know. Until the birth of Imam Baqir. And he went to says, I'm sending the salam of your Jad to you. And he says, salam and peace be upon my Jad, and to you, convey the salam to him. At that time, Imam Baqir is both Hassani and Husseini. From the father's side, who is his father? Imam Sajjad. From the mother's side, who is his mother? Fatima bint al-Hasan, the daughter of Imam Hassan. That Imam Sadiq said, she was the best of the children of Imam Hassan. The best of the daughters. Very, very righteous person. So Imam started, developing this concept of spreading the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt. Baqir is the one who split the knowledge. The one who gets to the depth of knowledge. The true knowledge that you want to receive. Just to make it practical, a tradition from this Imam that their words are like ocean. Depends on your skills, how deep you can go in. Some people they go to the beach, oh my God, so beautiful, oh, alhamdulillah, they get that much from it, right? Some people, they start fishing, they get something from the surface. Some people, they dive in, they get more. Some people can go all the way in, they get some treasures and everything from it, right? This is the concept of Ahlul Bayt. Depends on what you can get from it. قال الباقر عليه الصلاة والسلام ثلاث لم يجعل الله عز وجل لأحد فيهن رخصة. The 3 things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ask us, we need to stay with these three things no matter what. There's no rukhsat. There's no permission to go against these three. Look how practical. And I think if only these three be practiced in our lives, everything else will be fine. Only these three things. The key. 1. أداء الأمانة إلى البر والفاجر. When someone trusted you and they gave you an amanat, you return the amanat. Doesn't matter that person is a righteous person or is the horrible person against it is a very vicious person. Doesn't matter. When someone trusts you, you give it back. When Rasulullah took the key of Kaaba from that non-believer, this is give it back to them. It was an amanat. Doesn't matter who they are. While I'm talking, I want you to remember that example I gave, the ocean. What you can see from it. I want to see how far you can dive into this ocean of the wisdom of Baqir in this world. Are you standing at the beach? Oh wow, this beautiful. Alhamdulillah, subhanAllah, yeah, so we have to return the amanat. That's it? Let's dive into it together. Is the amanat only what I give you? Remember this, we have relationship with three different groups or people. 1, us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 2, us and others. 3, us and others. Others and ourselves, right? The third, ourselves. Allah, others, ourselves. You don't get amanat only from other people. You get amanat first and foremost from who? What are the amanat that you receive from Allah? What is the trust that Allah gave you and He trusted you to give you? Think about it. The first thing that you have been trusted to have is you yourself that Allah gave you. And you cannot betray the amanat, can you? It's in any, doesn't matter, it's not even a religious concept necessarily. It's a very easy concept. It is a religious concept, but everybody follows even non-religious, right? Amanat, you have to give it back. Trust, you have to give it back. If someone gave you to hold into it, give it back to me. You have to do your best. Either don't accept it or you have it, you give it back exactly as it was. Maybe better, right? The first amanat is you that Allah gave you to yourself. Your life, your hours, you cannot waste it however you want. You're not allowed to waste it. There's no rukhsat in it, remember? You know what they call rukhsati? Because you have the permission to take your life, right? You don't have permission to do whatever you want to. No, this is trust. You can't do whatever you want to your body. Why suicide is super, super bad in Islam and haram? Why? Because this is not yours. This doesn't belong to you. We gave it to you. You know the clerks, the people who work in the bank? Every day probably $1 million it comes under their hands and then it goes, right? They don't believe that this is theirs. They know it's not their money. They work with it. They pass it to the next one. This is your amanat of Allah. Your life, your health, your everything. One, you are your amanat of Allah to yourself. What are amanat you have? People, family around you, they're amanat of Allah. Your children are amanat of Allah. You can't do whatever you want, however you want. However you want to train them. You will be responsible at the day of judgment in front of Allah. How did you train your children? No. Stanford University, Allah, Stanford University, UCLA, everything. Perfect. So how about other part? Let's be honest. How about the akhlaq? How about the spirituality? How about the iman? This is the amanah that gave you. There are some people praying decades and decades to have one child and they don't have it. You know many people, right? For whatever reason, Allah is done. And you have it. You can't do it. Your wife, your husband, your spouse is amanat of Allah to you. You will be responsible at the day of judgment how you treated your spouse. When we say if only and only if we follow these things, anything will be solved in this dunya because of this wisdom. We're going deep to the words and the wisdom of Muhammed, right? Your parents are the amanah to you. You have to be careful how you treated them. Your iman is the amanat of Allah to you. I don't want to pray today. I'm just no. You're not free to do whatever you want. You're not free anywhere in this dunya, are you? You gotta follow the rules, and this is everything. If in a school they tell the students, you're free to do, sweetheart, whatever you want. No calm, no test, everything. What does it mean? Tell me. What does it mean? The students go back, please give me some rules and responsibility. I don't want to be free like this, right? This freedom means I'm not part of anything. I want to be part of the rules. I want to be part of this group. I want to follow something. Can you close the door, please? I want to be part of the group. It's not working this way. So we have some responsibility. More important than all these things that I tell you, we have the benefit of having Quran and Ahlul Bayt in front of us. The amanat of Allah to us. We've got to be responsible about it. Yeah, you came one day that night to Shahadat with Imam Baqir, so you were listening, hearing these things. How did you do? What did you do with it? Did you use it to become better? Are you a better person? I didn't create you with this cost to just randomly do whatever you want. I created you to be beneficial for yourself, for others, for family, for everything, right? Inshallah, another time we can go. Al-birr wal-fajr. Amanat is given to you. You gotta respect it, give it back to you. Doesn't matter who they are. That's why the mal and the money and wealth of non-Muslims are muhtaram and respected. You cannot pray in the property of someone who's not even believing anything. You need to ask permission. Why? Your salat is not okay to pray in someone's personal property because we respect it. Second, Imam Baqir said 3 things. I have to go faster. وَالْوَفَاءُ بِالْأَهْدِ لِلْبَرِّ وَالْفَاجِرِ. If you promise someone that you want to do something, you have to fulfill that. Either don't promise, or when you promise, you have to. لِلْبَرِّ وَالْفَاجِرِ. Doesn't matter, that person is Nabi, a prophet, or is shirk. As long as it's a promise alongside with shar, you have to follow. If it's against Islam, against Shah, you promise something? No, that's a different thing. It's a different discussion, right? I promise him to go drink something. I promise him to go to the party. I promise him to go. No, we're not talking about these things. We're talking about the fine things, right? It's very obvious what we're talking about. Sorry that I even said that because it's very obvious. When you bring the wafa, ahad, you gotta stay with it. When I say wafa, who comes to your mind? Say that now. Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. This also tonight, the aghoz, the beginning of the journey of Imam Hussein towards Karbala, right? There are a lot of great characteristics in Karbala that Karbala became Karbala because of the characters of Karbala. Otherwise, Karbala is Karbala because of Imam Hussein, because of 72 people, because of Abul Fadl Abbas that we can learn from it. And find this wafa and promise and treat Allah, others, yourself. When you promise Allah, أَلَمْ أَعْهَدْ إِلَيْكُمْ يَا بَنِي آدَمَ أَنْ لَا تَعْبُدُوا الشَّيْطَانَ قَالُوا بَلَى. Didn't I take, Quran says, didn't I take the promise from you, Bani Adam, children of Adam, sons of Adam, didn't I take this promise from you? Do not worship Shaitan. Yes, you did, and we said yes. Stay with the promise. You promise something, you have to fulfill it. You said, I'm Muslim. You have to follow it. You can't be half Muslim. You can't be selectively Muslim. I mean, I feel it now. No one in this world would accept you to be halfway through it. No one. School, job, any organization, anywhere. Either you're in or out. Why not make it easier? Please, we're living in these days, our children. That I would be disrespecting you. I mean, you're guys are so, people are so weak. He says, if you cannot do it, something that is so beneficial for yourself. And other old examples that I always give. In your family, there's ahd. There's a promise that we're a family, we're one family, we're going to be a good family, we're going to respect each other, yes, there comes difficulties, problems, situations. I cannot disrespect you. I have a promise. I have you. You are the trust, you are the promise. I can't do whatever you want. Because one day I'm not going to have you. Then it's too late. And I can't do anything about it. While I'm thinking, think about it. What are the wafa? What are the promises, covenant that you made with Allah, with others and with yourself? With yourself too. I'm sure you, like me, we promised a lot to ourselves. We're going to become better. Didn't you? Raise your hand. If anyone here says, I didn't promise anything to myself that I'm going to become better. Then we're going to have a deeper discussion after lecture. We all promised. Either physical things, mental things, spiritual things, doesn't matter. I promise to do this, finish my education, lose weight, I don't know, eat healthy, whatever it is. To be more spiritual, to follow Imam in Islam, to be better with my family. Then there's no rukhsat in it that do whatever you want. Do it. Yeah, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of self-esteem and confidence, and if you don't have it, then this is a different discussion how you have it. But وَالْوَفَاءُ بِالْأَهْدِ لِلْبَرِّ وَالْفَاجِرِ. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter who is that person. You promise, you fulfill it. When you do this with someone who's not even believing in these things, the person says, wow, how respectful this person is. This is the tabligh, but this is the da'wah by itself. And the last one. وَبِرُّ الْوَالِدَيْنِ بَرَّيْنْ كَانَ أَوْ فَاجِرَيْنِ. What did I say? 3 things. Imam says you have to stay with this no matter what. The first one was what? Amanat, you give it back. Doesn't matter who he is. She is. Second one, covenant, promise, you fulfill it. The third, وَبِرُّ الْوَالِدَيْنِ. You respect your parents. Doesn't matter if they are kafir or they're Muslim. And I'm not talking to children necessarily. I'm talking to all of you guys here. And I'm talking to you your parents are, may Allah inshallah bless their souls, or they're still alive, you have the blessings. And I'm going to talk about it very quickly. If you have your parents in front of you, Imam says you have to do it. Quran we know about it. وَبَرُّ الْوَالِدَيْنِ. Not to be respectful. Bir doesn't mean to be respectful. That's the thing. It's not about just be respectful. No, you have to put the effort to be the best and to be at their service. Even if they're not here in this world, what can you do for them? What can you send for them? How you can help them when they're not here in this dunya? How can you give me some examples? What you can do? I know what you're going to say, but say it. What are the ways that you can support and help your parents if they're not in this dunya?
Charity on their name.
What else? Charity, what else? Yes. Ibadat for them, namaz, what else? Building something for them, madrasa, school, masjid, what else? I'm waiting for something. More important than all these things. More important than that. More important. More important than that. There you go. Say salawat for you. Be the one who you're supposed to be. Some of these things that you're saying, this is the duty. You have to pray the wajibat and everything for them. You might be wajib for you. What can help them in you is you be the one that you should be. Focus more on this. All these things are important. Charity, everything you said, beautiful. Focus more on yourself. So at the day of judgment, when they are and now in barzakh among other parents. My son, my daughter, you see, I'm so proud. Yes, there's alam. When we take barzakh, there's alam. The way that we're living, they have the life over there as well. Right? Alam rahim, in the mother's womb. Alam dunya, this is the world, and barzakh, and then after that, right? Even if your parents are not righteous Muslim, you know what that doesn't mean? You need to respect. Not, I'm sorry, I said respect. No. You have to be super cordial and be at their service. Imam Baqir said, وَبِرُّ الْوَالِدَيْنِ means before they ask something, you give it to them. You be at their service. Before they ask. And I promise you do this, and I promise you do this. See how the doors of success will be opened in front of you, one after another one. In this dunya, forget about the akhirah that Allah is going to reward you. Depth of the kalam of the Imam Baqir, how to do it. And I know it gets so tough, so difficult, how they are, what they do. Sometimes they don't understand you, doesn't make sense, what they do, how they do. I am so aware of that, that's my job. You all know my other things that they do, right? Every day I see people, I see complain. But I still see it. If that is in your mind registered, I have no right, I cannot do anything. I follow the right path. I go to counseling, I talk to when I cannot. Yes, these are all important. I talk to an expert about this to make sure help and solve. But what is there that Imam is putting this next to other ones? We have this wisdom from our Imams. We have this kalam, this beauties that we have in front of us from Allah. And I'm thinking sometimes, believe me, every day, besides that I'm a scholar, I'm a psychologist, when I see this, when I see that how this can help human beings in real life, not just Muslims. When I see some disadvisors can help someone, prevent them from having issues. When I have some people come to me, children, youth, adults, they have different sort of addictions in life. I don't want to even mention. When they're dealing with all sort of addiction, that this is destroying their life. When there is anger management issue, when there's some problems, I see, oh my God, we have the answers here. I wish we could somehow giving it more. It's my responsibility to be able, that's wallahi, that's going to help a lot. I shouldn't swear, but just, it's so obvious, so clear. It's just a matter of believing it, practicing it. We're so blessed. We're so blessed that we're sitting tonight in the majlis of our beloved Imam. The Imam that his presence, his essence was the help, was the support, was the guide for humanity. And you know what? It's not just about the wisdom, it's not about this educational perspective. It's also about the emotional aspects of our relationship with Imam. That when you see you have this asset in front of you and how they treated them, how they treated our Imams, that when you have someone so wise, so amazing in front of you, you just want to be with them, spend time with them, be at their service, learn more from them. And you see there were around a bunch of oppressors for the sake of this dunya. They wanted to do whatever vicious ideas and plans that they had. Imam lives 50-something, 57 years.